Hey, thanks for checking out this video today. If we're new to each other, my name is Michelle from Sensate Soul, as well as the Soul Translator, and I help empaths and HSPs, and what I lovingly call you as empreneurs, those who are creative empathic entrepreneurs. And today's video, we want to talk about boundaries. I'm taking a walk, saying hi to one of my favorite tree friends. Let me give you a little windshield beauty. I call her the queen. And today, talking about boundaries, I want to give a short story here about trees. And this will be particularly important for you if you have difficulties with boundaries. Hello, who doesn't? But particularly HSPs, and there's a reason for that. And I'll get to that in a minute. And but also for if you are wanting to step out more into the world as a creative empreneur, this is going to be, I hope, really, really encouraging for you. And it got a little bit of a straight up talk, because that's important. So here's the story. I was reading an article the other day about trees, and there is this thing that people who study trees and plants are finding, that trees have these things. I'm just going to call them, I don't remember what they call them, but I'm going to call them happy boundaries. So if a tree is with another tree that it likes, or its same type, if they have a good relationship, the trees will have a kind of natural boundary that is a happy boundary, as I call it. This is not what the scientists say, around, between them. So they'll grow, and their canopy will just be to a certain point where they're energetically brushing up on each other. Now, trees that aren't into the other tree around them, they'll still have a boundary. So those trees will still have a boundary, but they'll have more of a clear, defined, repelling boundary, where the happy boundary, the energy is still kind of touching each other, but separate. The kind of like, this is where you are done and I begin. That boundary is actually the energy kind of goes backwards on itself, but there's still a strong boundary. So we are very similar, aren't we? Or at least we can be. The thing is with boundaries that I find in my work, and that I see in myself as well from my experience, and that I see in the world, and particularly also, let me address the world of being an empath and an HSP. And what I see out there is that so many of us will complain about having a real difficult time with boundaries. And so here's the thing about why that I think on the very primal, natural side is true. Before we put on all the layers of challenges that we've had, upbringing, emotions, relationships, all of that stuff. The thing is that to be a highly empathic person requires naturally a certain level of boundarylessness, right? Because you're open, you're receptive, you're able to tune in to others, you're able to tune in to trees, you're able to feel, there's a certain amount of just being open for business energetically, right? Because you really are able to tune into things. That's what being highly empathic allows you to do, and that's what it means. So then, of course, that makes sense that then boundaries are a little extra challenging, because it's not energetically within our design. It is something that we need to learn more of. And also, it is something that is very available to us because we're very attuned to energy. And when we decide to have clearer boundaries energetically, emotionally, when we're in that mindset that matters, we can quickly do it. So this is the other part of this. So this kind of catch-22 other side of this is that in order to step out of our comfort zones, to grow, to change, particularly if you're an empathic entrepreneur and you're you know, putting yourself out there. It requires going beyond your own boundaries, right? To get out of a comfort zone, that's what it means. Your own comfort zone, my own comfort zone, is a typical, or is a particular type of boundary that we've created for ourselves. So because we have already a challenge, can have a challenge with boundaries, the idea of stepping out of our own chosen or protective boundaries and going out into the world, you know, go forth and live long and prosper, can be really like, oh, no, I'm not going to do that. It can feel very unsafe, because when you are somebody who already has challenges with boundaries, to break them, the few that you do have, which can be comfort zones, is like, it can be very fear invoking. But the catch-22 is that in order to grow and in order to step out, we have to have, here it is, strong boundaries. We have to know how to be able to have a strong boundary. And that is the thing that I find, I know I've seen this in myself, and I find it with, you know, the people that I work with, that if you feel like you don't have if you're not good with your boundaries, it's going to feel really scary to step out, because stepping out is going to require you to have more boundaries. So here's the thing is, first, oops, let me just not wiggle them. I'm excited. I just want to wiggle this too much. The first thing is that we have to learn how to have boundaries. And I know that sounds a little bit like we have to, but we do. In order to move past a boundary, a comfort zone, in order to step out more, in order to say the things we want to say, share the ideas, you know, speak up, speak out, step up, step out, we need to have boundaries. We need to trust ourselves with those boundaries enough to be able to do that. And then that requires making boundaries matter in the first place. So this is, it's a really funky little catch-22, but it's really, I hope you can see, I'm sure that you do, that there is this, you know, you can't have one without the other. And in order to grow and expand and become more empowered and healthier, we've got to put boundaries in place. And the first place is with ourselves. You know, when to protect ourselves, love ourselves, respect ourselves, listen to ourselves. And that's the energy I often talk about a lot, is discernment. So that's all for this video today. I'm going to take my soggy self and my soggy dog, raw lar, over back home and dry off and get to work. So please do let me know what you think about this topic, and leave a comment below, as well as, if you'd like this video, subscribe, thumbs up, share it with a friend, why not? All right, take great care. Oh wait, before we go, let's say goodbye to the queen. Isn't she a beauty? She's probably about 200 feet tall. All right, take great care and so much love. See you in the next video.